Hey everyone, I am Saxowine with SC Haulers, and today we are going over the cargo hauling ships that I use to do cargo hauling. So I did a post a couple of days ago on YouTube asking you what you wanted to see next because I have a couple of ideas in mind, but I wasn't sure. So ships I used to cargo haul was the number one answer out of the 65 of you, so that's what we're starting with. But this was a really close vote, so I wanted to do all of these, but that 29% got me over the edge for ships I use for right now. Then we'll get into Quantanium mining, advanced mining guide, and finally the Wicklow changes of 4.1.1. But that one I may or may not do that one just because there's so many people that are covering it. But let's go ahead and get on into the ships. So I first wanted to say that this is going to be broken down into different sections. It's not going to be a cut and dry, like this is the ship that I use for everything. There are many different reasons why you would use different ships, and I wanted to make sure that every category that I do majority of the time is covered. So we're going to start with the moneymaker category. And some of you can probably already tell I am making money with the Hull C. Now, I don't want to get into the bugginess of the Hull C. I can just tell you for a fact, if you can get the Hull C to work, it will make you a ton of money. And you can see this mission that I have here on the screen. It wants me to transport 4,224 SCU from Terra Gateway to Pyro Gateway. This is an experienced rank Covalex mission, and it pays you 700k. If you get both of those stations to work for you, loading and offloading, that's an easy 700k for 10 minutes of work. You don't even have to do anything. You just fly into the box, you leave, you fly into the next box, you're done. That's it. In one of my previous videos where I was going over the new changes for the Argo RAFT, I mentioned that the Hull C was now on the known issues list for a lot of the issues that it has. So I would expect soon the Hull C to get some big updates and the systems that it uses in order to load and unload. Now this is not a tips and tricks video, but I will say in this known issues video for 4.1, one of the things that they mention is that the cargo boxes that you're going into, like this one here, will not detect your cargo. The only way to get it to detect your cargo is if you are perfectly centered in the box. If you are struggling with this, I would recommend that you just switch servers or switch Hull Cs if you have another one. Our next category is going to be starter ships, and what I mean by starter ships are the ones designated by CIG as starter. So this is not going to include any packages that you can buy that don't have this starter tag on them. But you can see here, most of you that have seen this ship before, this is the Crusader Intrepid. I am a Crusader fanboy, so when they came out with this starter ship, I absolutely loved it. And we're just going to do a quick tour real quick, and you saw the bridge. It's just a one-seater ship. You have a little habitation area, and here in the back, you have cargo. Your engineering deck, you can easily get out of the back through the cargo spots. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's your basic starter ship. The SCU total on the cargo grid is 8 SCU. You can see right here, I'm loading up this 2 SCU box onto the cargo grid. Now, it doesn't sit all the way on the ground like the landing gear, which I think could be an improvement, but as long as you pick the box up, you'll be fine. It's like Mama used to say, stop dragging your feet on the ground. One thing I do like about the Intrepid is you can bring this cargo box up. Yeah, wrong door. But you can bring this box up and you can store this box inside the ship. And come on, get over that lip. And there we go. So yeah, you can turn these sideways and like put them in the hallways here. I haven't tried to double stack these in the hallways, but I would assume the beam that's at the top here would be a little too tall. Or too short, excuse me. But if you just leave it on floor level, you can leave two SCU containers here in the middle, so that's 4, and then one's in the corners. And so in total you can get 6 SCU inside. If you really want to pack this thing up, you could stack it in the hallway back here. I wouldn't recommend it, because then you'd have to figure out a way to get it out without having access to the cargo grid. So that's on you. But that's my preferred starter ship. If I were starting from nothing, the Intrepid would be the one I pick. So from here we're going to go into Covalex hauling missions, or hauling missions just in general. I say Covalex because the Red Wind hauling is a completely different beast from the Covalex hauling. So what we're going to do is break this into 2 categories for Covalex hauling. We have low tier, which will be trainee, rookie, junior, and member rank missions. And then you have high tier Covalex hauling, which will be experienced, senior, and master. So we're going to start with the low tier ships. And remember, this is going to be trainee, rookie, junior, and member ranks in Covalex. If I am just grinding my rep, just starting my grind on rep, the first ship that I am using is the Cutlass Black. Now the Cutlass Black can hold 48 SCU of cargo, and it's a very good combat ship for early on stuff, which just makes it a phenomenal overall ship. And then on top of it, you have 2 seats on there. You could bring a crew with you. You have jump seats in the back. You have a tractor beam in the back. Like, the Cutty Black is an amazing ship. It is a jack of all trades. I love the Cutlass Black. The Drake Cutlass Black is my go-to starting ship if I am just starting my Covalex hauling rep. Now, obviously, I'm not doing all those other things like combat or bringing friends with me if I'm grinding Covalex hauling rep. That's going to be boring for whoever's in the passenger seat. But the reason I picked the Drake Cutlass Black is because of how fast it is and how maneuverable it is with all the cargo that it will have on it. Now, if I were to upgrade my Cutlass Black, in 4.1, I am going to go up to a Constellation Taurus. Now, I don't have a Constellation Taurus. I only ever rent the Constellation Taurus. I don't like how slow it is. I also don't like how the maneuverability is quite sluggish too. Like, when you're switching from a Cutlass Black to a Constellation Taurus, you can definitely tell the difference. Now, if you're one of those people that likes to do Vaughn missions or bounty hunter missions and you take the cargo off those higher level ships, Constellation Taurus is perfect for you, because you can do higher end missions with the Constellation Taurus and then pull all that cargo off, and the Constellation Taurus has 174 SCU of cargo space. Now you can see the Constellation Phoenix that I have here. I love the Phoenix just because it has a PDC on it. It still has all those weapons that the Taurus does, and then on top of it, it still has its cargo space. But at the end of the day, I just like riding in luxury. That's why I have the Phoenix and not the Taurus. Getting into high tier Covalex hauling. If you get to experienced rank, use the Hull C. Use the Hull C. If you want to go all the way to master for some reason, which is not necessary, there is nothing to gain by getting to master. Getting to experienced and senior is where you're going to want to be. That gives you the most options. Master does not open up a lot of routes. That being said, let's just, in theory, say my Hull C is bugged. I can't unload, I can't load, I can't do anything with the Hull C. The ship I'm using for cargo hauling, high end, is the Crusader C2 Hercules. It's got 696 SCU of cargo space. It does not have a tractor beam. I don't know why the developers decided that Crusader ships just don't need tractor beams, but they did. They decided that. So bring a max lift, bring an Atlas, you're gonna need it. For commodity trading. Commodity trading is an interesting one because it is a high risk, high reward type of activity. High risk meaning you have to spend your own money. Also, you have to encounter bugs. Now, medium risk in this category is maybe you encounter pirates. Maybe you get interdicted. Who knows? That is a medium risk. That does not happen to me often. But I always use the auto load and auto unload feature with commodity trading. I would say my choice for this is also the Crusader C2 Hercules. Now, the reason I use the C2 instead of the whole C for commodity trading, one reason is because of the bugs that are encountered with the whole C. The other reason for this is because the whole C is limited in where it can deliver cargo. You have to go to a place that has a cargo trading center. With the C2, all you have to do is land in your hangar and then go to the admin terminal or the TDD or whatever and just sell your cargo. But if you're going to do commodity trading, I recommend the C2, do the auto loading steps, and then go from there. My last section that I have, section 6, is org-based events. Now this is going to be really dependent on what your org needs. Like, not all orgs are going to need a C2. Not all orgs are going to need a cutter. Sometimes your org event will require 27 cutters, or maybe it needs 5 C2s. Like, every situation is different, but I will say the most common cargo hauling ship I use whenever there's an event is the C2, and that is to maximize profit. The C2 is pretty much the best overall ship currently for cargo hauling. I will give an honorable mention to ships like the Zeus CL or the Crusader C1 Spirit. What you can do with these is throw on full stealth components and make it into a stealth ship, and then once you've converted it into a stealth ship, you can go into areas like the Align and Mine, Hathor locations, and have a very low signature, and then be able to get to the hull and extract cargo or personnel or whatever the case may be. So your smaller cargo hauling ships can come in handy. That being said, with the supply and die event, if you were hauling data trine, you were using a C2. You were pulling in a C2, having a ground crew load you up, getting it out of there, bringing another C2 in. So it could go either way. It really depends on what your org uses. What I use most often is a C2 or a Zeus CL. Now, I know I said that was the last category, but really there's one more category, and it is the up and coming category. Before I get into that, I want to say I went over Covalex hauling for a specific reason. I did not bring up the Red Wind hauling because it is a different beast completely. Like, you have to go on different routes, you have to have different cargo capacities, and the biggest thing about it is that cargo hauling is bugged currently, and the missions are bugged is what I mean. When you select a mission that has 2 pickup locations and 1 drop-off location, or maybe it has multiple drop-off locations, but the key thing is the multiple pickup locations, like her L1, her L2, her L3. Pick up at those 3 locations. After you accept the mission, it will bug out and say you need to pick up all your cargo at 1 location. Then once you pick up your cargo, you'll notice that your cargo is not all at 1 location. You have to go to the other 2 locations that were listed previously. And then once you pick those up and get back to your actual delivery station, because your mission is now marked with pickup from the 1 location, your cargo that you picked up at the other 2 locations won't count towards your mission. So it's bugged, and that is why Red Wind hauling is bugged. I have been grinding Red Wind hauling, and it is a pain in the butt because all I can do is select these extremely large cargo hauls, and it's frustrating. That being said, let's get into the up and coming. Going into Red Wind hauling, I am going to grind all the way up to experience just to see what it is, just to see what's available. And I know I could data mine it. Well, I could ask somebody to data mine what the missions look like, but I don't really want to do that. So we're going to grind it anyways, even though the missions are broken. We're going to slow roll it on the missions that do work and go from there. And the ship that I'm going to use in the future 4.1.1 release is going to be the Argo RAFT. The Argo RAFT, if you haven't seen my other videos about the RAFT, got a huge hauling update. Excuse me, it didn't get a huge hauling update. I guess it technically did. It got a huge cargo grid update. So previously the RAFT could only hold 96 SCU of cargo. They changed it to where the arms on the RAFT are no longer there, and they changed it to a flat cargo grid. It can now hold 192 SCU of cargo. When this is released, this is going to be my main ship. This is a really exciting ship, and you can see on the screen right now, I am going through rookie rank missions like it's nothing. I do end up putting an Atlas in the airlock just so that way I can transport it up with me. But basically, I can go from trainee to junior rank in about 30-45 minutes. And you could argue that you could do the same thing on the Constellation Taurus, but once you start getting into those junior and member rank missions, when the cargo halls start getting bigger, that open space that is available on the raft is going to be huge compared to what the Constellation Taurus can do. Now, if you're going to do combat, again, the Constellation series is going to be superior to the Argo raft. Argo is your industrial company. RSI Constellation is going to be kind of everywhere. In the lore, RSI is the grandfather of space travel, so take that as you will. Another ship to look forward to is the Drake Ironclad. It's in concept at the moment. I'm hoping during Drake Day at Invictus launch week, they announce the Ironclad, maybe get some pre-orders in there. That would be great for me. I would love that. But that's going to be it. Next patch, look out for the raft. There's probably going to be a bunch flying around. But that's going to be my ships I use for cargo hauling. I am Saxawine. This is SC Haulers, and we'll see you at the next haul.